Hey friend, welcome to Self-Transformed, a podcast redefining self-care through simple fitness, nutrition, and mindset habits. I'm your host, Emily Nichols, certified personal trainer, Whole30 coach, and Taco Tuesday enthusiast. Hey, I know the struggle is real when it comes to taking care of you. I too am a busy working mom who felt physically and emotionally drained until I took action on my own transformation journey. I finally found the solutions to feeling confident and living a healthy lifestyle that doesn't feel hard, and now I'm on a mission to equip you with sustainable tools to help transform your life from the inside out, guilt-free. Together, we will simplify your health and fitness into daily habits that don't feel like another thing on your long to-do list, but daily actions that light you up instead. So if you're ready to redefine self-care and step into your own self-transformation, then let's do this. You're listening to episode 142 of Self-Transformed. Friends, let's just take a big, deep breath together. Breathe in and out. Doesn't that feel better? Don't you feel lighter already? Well, we are going to be talking about breath work today as one of the tools you can put in your transformation toolkit as a healthy habit to help you relieve tension, to help you relieve any anxiety, and change your mindset. It's amazing. I love this conversation so much. Before we get into this interview with my friend Kelly Brooke Adams, let me give you a couple of announcements. So last week we hosted our free mini workshop in the Facebook community. It was so much fun. We talked all about balance and how it's not a four-letter word, and I gave a couple of simple habit hacks to help you start incorporating balance into your everyday schedule, and that it's something you feel instead of something that you just do. So you can go to the Facebook community. Join us if you're not there already. It's bit.ly/self-transformed-fam. There's a link in the show notes for you as well. But y'all, every month I do a free mini workshop, and it's voted on by the girls in the community, and they voted on talking about balance this past month. I can't wait to hear what they come up with for us to talk about next month. And seriously, it's 15 minutes or less. I know you're super busy, so we keep them mini. That's why they're short and sweet and always with an action item for you, just like we always do here at the end of every show as well. But super exciting announcement. I've been kind of praying about this and thinking about feedback I've been getting from my clients, what I see works and what I see maybe isn't working for that matter. But my Habits That Stick Starter Kit, it is a great tool for you to start super deep diving into habit strategy. And of course, there's action items with it. There's worksheets for you to use with it. And the folks that were going through it, a lot of them that were purchasing it were going on to Self-Transform You after that, my signature program. And the more I thought about it, I was like, before we start every round, it would be great if whoever purchased Self-Transform You could just get the Habits That Stick starter kit as well, because you could start deep diving into habit strategy. Be ready to go. We cover it in the first week, and your mindset, most importantly, that first week of Self-Transform You. And that way you're able to have even more of a massive transformation and having sustainable health habits at the end of those 4 weeks of Self-Transform You. So starting right now, actually starting last week, the girls in the workshop heard it first. When you purchase Self-Transform You, you get the Habits That Stick starter kit included with it. So I'm super excited. The next round of Self-Transform You begins on March 21st. I can't believe we're almost halfway there into March already, but I'd love to have you join us. So if you're not familiar with Self-Transform You, it's my signature 4-week program. At the end of the 4 weeks, here's what you walk away with. You walk away with healthy habits, and they are sustainable because everything we talk about in the program week by week is backed by habit strategy. So each week you're building on one thing after another. That way it's not overwhelming. Always a lesson and then action plan tied to it as well, because we aren't just going to watch it. We're going to take action. And at the end of the 4 weeks, you have a healthy plan for you, a way to incorporate healthy eating without it feeling hard, a way for you to do joyful movement even if you don't like working out, ways to talk about how to continue this lifestyle when motivation is gone, because it will be gone. That's where your habits take place, or when you change into a new season of life. You know, a lot of girls going through Self Transform You have restarted the program because they're going through a new season of life and they need to reevaluate the habits they have now and figure out what ways to incorporate those new healthy habits. Because y'all, you're never going to find time. Like, you're never, ever, ever going to find time. But through this program, you will be able to make time for some healthy habits and help you just, feel so good from the inside out. So, friend, you can go to selftransformyou.com, sign up, reserve your spot now, because I only take a few girls every month, because I do actually do a one-on-one call with every single STU student to do a habit hacking call with you to customize your program a little bit more, have an added sense of accountability. A lot of girls are getting ready to do their final habit hacking call. A lot of them added on an extra one at the end of the February round of STU. But you also get weekly texting from me as well that you can reply back to, which has been so fun to hear everyone's wins via our texting platform. So again, selftransformyou.com, reserve your spot. You can purchase it now, get the Habit Set Stick Starter Kit, dig deep into that, and then you're ready to go with STU on March 21st. Okay, so make sure you're staying tuned to the podcast. I have a super big announcement coming here in the next couple of weeks for the month of April. A lot of very, very super exciting things I can't wait to share with you. So make sure you're subscribed. That way you're able to make sure you know when a new episode drops twice a week. And as always, if you have any questions, just send me a text, or if you want to sign up for my weekly pump up text to get a little extra motivation, habit hacks, inspiration, or maybe just a little kick in the butt or a shoulder to cry on, you text me your favorite emoji at 1-773-904-2157 so we can chat via text. I'll answer all your questions about Self Transform You, and you can get that weekly motivation right to your inbox. Well, not necessarily your inbox, your text inbox. Okay, let's get into today's episode. I love being able to give you some tools to help you on your own transformation journey. And I was really excited to connect with Kelly Adams, who's on the show today. We're talking all about breath work. And when I think of breath work, you know, as a fitness instructor, a personal trainer, Orange Theory coach, I talk about using your breath a lot. We talk about a lot of times when we're doing something really hard, like if we're lifting a heavy weight, sometimes when we're doing something really heavy or hard, we hold our breath. And sometimes I have to tell folks, make sure you're breathing, and you see them just instantly relax, and they're able to breathe into that movement. They're able to do some harder things because they aren't holding their breath. Or when they're coming down from doing something really, really hard and they're out of breath, you can get control back of your breath by breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, and just taking back control. That breath can help you feel a little bit more even keeled, a little bit more lighter. But this can apply not just towards fitness, but this can apply towards your everyday life. So let me get into this episode with Kelly Adams. Let me tell you a little bit about her first. So Kelly is known as the Mary Poppins of Mindset. She's a speaker, entrepreneur with the power of, and just through the power of community, she's transforming life and businesses around the globe. So her values really lie deep within the roots of integrity, and her mission extends to the heights of a worldwide movement cultivating holistic wealth that sees women making peace with their past to step into their prosperity. So through the power of breathwork and mindset, reset hacks, and I love that, reset hacks, she is redefining what it means to be successful for a modern day woman. So we talk a little bit about being soul tired and having public success, but being a private failure. And I feel like we can all really relate to this as a working mom, putting a lot of pressure on ourselves to appear to have it all put together, but our souls are so tired. So this breath work that we're going to take you through today, these tips, make sure you have a pen and paper handy for one. Number two, come to it with an open mind and open heart. And we'll talk about the 3 biggest takeaways at the end so you can start incorporating this into your healthy habits. Okay? Got your pen and paper handy? Alrighty, let's go, friend. Enjoy this interview. All right, gang. Thank you so much again for tuning in to Self Transformed. I am so excited to dig into this conversation today with Kelly Brooke Adams. Kelly, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to have this conversation with you. So, before we get started, I ask this question to every single one of my guests, and that is, Kelly, what does the phrase self transformed mean to you?
To me, that would be self acceptance and coming back home to ourselves and who we are before the world got a hold of us.
Before the world got a hold of us. I love that so much. Well, I feel like, especially as a lot of the women listening are busy working moms, we get so caught up in being like the perfect Pinterest mom or putting a lot of pressure on ourselves. And we're really not being true to ourselves because we're trying to be someone else, maybe that we're not, we're truly just not meant to be, right? Totally.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that.
I just find a lot of women end up seeing success in other people in different ways. And then they end up creating a recipe, or they're like, oh, she looks like she's doing dinner so well. Steal a piece of this. She looks like she's crushing her job. And then we create a recipe that is everything but that of which we are. And so what I like to do, and what self transformation would mean to me, is plucking away one by one, getting rid of all these things, these outdated ways of thinking, these old paradigms, and get back to who you are and whose you are, and just kind of come home to yourself.
I love that. Come home to yourself. I love that so much. Well, let's talk a little bit more about transformation. We were kind of chatting a little bit before we hit record, and I want to have you share with the audience a little bit your own transformation story. Kind of what has led you in your life to becoming who you are and what you do today.
Yeah. So I think the biggest pivotal point in my life was in 2018. So I've been an entrepreneur since 2002. And in 2018, we sold our company. And at that moment, I was looking for something money can't buy, but I had money and not the other things. So what I realized in that moment is I was trying to keep up with the Joneses. And then I realized the Joneses aren't very happy. So I had the house, the 2.5 kids, the white picket fence, buying two cars the same day, like all of the things. So when we sold our company, I had a lot of money, but I was soul tired. You know, when you lay your head down on the pillow at night and you're like literally physically soul tired. See, throughout growing the companies, I began getting my priorities out of alignment, and I began chasing money. And when you're chasing money, my personal opinion is you're always in misery. So there I was chasing money and misery, sold our company, soul tired, literally found myself down on my knees crying out that, is this as good as it gets? Is this as good as it gets? You know, I had worked so hard. But at that point in time, I was a public success and a private failure. Chasing money kind of let the relationship, the marriage, I'm married to my high school sweetheart, but that we were disconnected. The kids were acting out because mama wasn't being top priority for them. We were eating on a fast food, on the run lifestyle. It was just a lifestyle that I had created by default, but it was no longer serving me.
Mm.
So in that moment, when all the validation stopped, because no one's cheering you on for cleaning the toilet. Nobody was high-fiving me for doing dishes at home. So I really sought my validation through work, because at work I was a rock star. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, Kelly, thank you. This event was so awesome. And then the validation stopped. And I had realized I didn't know who I was anymore. So that took me on a huge inward journey. I believe our internal view is how we see our physical world externally. So I was in chaos. So I was seeing everything through a chaotic lens. And I went on a long journey of healing, exploration, coming back home to myself. And since then, it's been 5 years now almost, that I've made it my passion to make sure women operate from a place of balance and realize they can do, have it all. And I do that from a very holistic approach and putting faith first, family second, and career third.
I love that story so much. I love how you brought up the term you were soul tired. Like when you first mentioned that, I was like, oh, that just punched me in the gut. And I'm sure other women, when they're listening to this, they're like, oh man, I know what that means like to me. Like kind of like we were talking about, like the whole self transformation, like coming back to who you are, finding who you are, kind of pushing away all the chaos. So
how did you get to a point where you recognized that you were finally soul tired? I mean, you left your job, you became, who you were meant to be, but what was that pivotal point where you were like, enough's enough. I have to get back to who I needed to be?
Yeah, it was like my marriage was really suffering,
Mm-hmm.
and at that point in time, like every woman wants to be seen, heard, and loved, but I had pushed, as you're building and growing and scaled friendships, relationships, partnerships aside, because I had tunnel vision. I was like, I knew where I was going. So then, I mean, not to reiterate it, but at the end of the day, I had money, but nothing else. Like, to be completely honest, I didn't have peace. I didn't have joy. I didn't have love. I had love, but not the ideal kind of love I was wanting at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I realized again, I was trying to put a Band-Aid on fixing it by making money so I could buy stuff to fill a hole within me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what I realized is if I get down to the deepest, darkest edges of me and do the healing and bring my shadows to the light, what else is there to be afraid of anymore? So I started started with breath work, started with meditation. And I was not a woman that could meditate. Like the thought of sitting still, even one time I remember our pastor in Whitestown, because I was living in Indiana at that time, we had a challenge to sit still for 1 minute. I could not even sit still for 1 minute, because if you have so many thoughts in your head, it doesn't feel safe to sit still.
Mm.
It feels, ooh, then I have to wrestle with these thoughts, and then they're real. It's easier to push them down, out of sight, out of mind. So stillness forces you to go inward. So that's what I did. I was like, I'm always like, want to be the best I can at whatever. So I just dove straight into this new self-discovery journey and coming home to myself.
Yeah. And as simple as that sounds, saying it, I think that's the same. It would be really hard for someone listening to be like, okay, just sit still and meditate and pray on it and like work on breath work. Easier said than done. And I love how you call yourself the Mary Poppins of Mindset. Number one, super cute. Number two, like that makes me feel really like warm and fuzzy inside, but it makes my working on your mindset not so scary or not so much like a really intangible thing. It's something that you could really do. So how can women, besides just sitting still, how can someone use breath work to kind of really dial into their mindset and really dig into like, okay, I'm soul tired. How can I awaken my soul again? And how can breath work help them do that?
Yeah. So breath work, I think, is key. Once you have the awareness, I think it works best being facilitated with someone else, because the average person isn't going to sit and push themselves through that. And your ego is not your amigo. So the reason breath work works is because it forces you out of your mind and into your body. And you literally can't breathe and focus on the BS, those low serving thoughts at the same time. But I find that is almost like, in the beginning, until you have done it and your body is comfortable with it, you won't get the results you could if you linked arms with someone, because they're going to push you past that state, because it's the ego. It doesn't feel safe to slow down. So your ego is going to not even want to stop I think of your ego as like the bouncer outside of a bar. His job is to keep you away from pain and towards pleasure. Slowing down feels painful because it's sitting in all of those low serving feelings that we don't want to feel. So actually, the number one thing I teach any woman coming into my space is to start with the posture of gratitude above anything else. And it gets to be as little and simple as this. The reason I say gratitude is because just like our bodies are dehydrated and we look for a drink in the morning, I used to be a fitness coach too, so I do bring in this whole holistic approach, that we are emotionally dehydrated in the morning. So if you think about it, none of us wake up intrinsically motivated. We take action to create a feeling and then we become motivated. So what I challenge you to do is start from a posture of gratitude before your feet even hit the floor. I tell my women, take 2 minutes in the morning, think of a person, place, or thing, set a timer on your phone. I'm very visual, so I have to have symbols to things. And I visualize sending liquid love and light to somebody. I'm literally, sometimes it's a tree, sometimes it's my dad, sometimes it's the ocean. It doesn't matter what it is, but 2 minutes is that magic number to physically change the feeling within your body. So because most people, they wake up, they're worrying about yesterday's problems. So I'm going to give a biohack in there, a pattern interrupt. If you feel gratitude right off the bat, you're maximizing somebody else and you're minimizing yourself. And then the body begins operating from a place of gratitude the rest of the day. And it's like a game changer. Like if you don't practice gratitude and then you lean into gratitude, or even writing down 10 things you're thankful for, it literally shifts the focus and the trajectory of your entire day. So gratitude would be number one. Breathing, and I can share a couple of very basic breathing tips, would be 2. But then to actually do some of the work, you have to pay attention to those things that are triggering you, that are making you want to do the breathing in the first place. So some powerful questions you can ask yourself is, what do I need in this moment? As a woman feeling triggered, I say how we're acting out, those are adult version of temper tantrums. Okay. So if you say, what do I need in this moment? A lot of times, most of the time, I'm taking you back to inner child healing, and you're out showing up as 10-year-old self when you didn't get to use your voice in the home. You know what I mean? So it's like, so I'll say, what do I need in this moment? And then what am I making this mean about me? And then the next level of thought to even go deeper with that is, who or what would I be without this thought? So you kind of do a little bit of shadow work, readdressing those questions. And then I encourage you to feel into your body. Where do you feel that tension or that trigger? And then start breathing into that area so you can properly process that feeling that's coming up, because most people's feelings get trapped because they're not properly processing them all the way. So breath work makes it like a wave. You can feel it, ride the emotion of the wave, and then release it.
Like I feel like lighter just listening to that. I felt myself like, okay, I'm breathing in and breathing out, Kelly. I got it. Oh, got it. Okay. Well, and yeah, going back to, I focus on a lot of breath, breathing in general, just like when I'm coaching a class, because a lot of times, like we notice folks hold their breath when they're doing something really hard, or their breathing is labored. And like, I don't think people really understand like the power of breath and like how you can actually take back control of your body and even your thoughts and your mindset when that's happening. So what would be a couple of like actual breathing techniques once they have focused on gratitude, which I love that. That's one of like our keystone habits we talk about in all our programs, like AM and PM gratitude, because it's like game changer. So what are some actual like breathing techniques once you've come into that awareness piece?
So most people are walking around as mouth breathers. So first of all, make sure you're breathing through your nose and out your mouth, slowing it down, being conscious of your breath. Even if you so in the beginning, I'll have my clients talk to Suri, set up times during the day to almost self-check their breath, because we're not taking the time to breathe. But if you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, and then if you add in a little bit of humming, the happy birthday song is amazing because everybody knows it. That will actually activate the vagus nerve in the back of your throat and reduce anxiety. So that is one. I do very basic to begin with. Another thing to bring the gratitude and the breath together is box breathing. I will literally say, okay, think of a feeling you want to feel and attach a symbol to that. Okay. So now we have a feeling we desire to feel. We attach a symbol to it. And then I want you to drop it into the shape of a square or a box. And then literally you're just visualizing drawing a box around this symbol. The feeling gives the mind a focus. And then you're inhaling for a count of 4. You're holding the breath for a count of 4, and you're exhaling for 4, and you stay in that pattern. That is another quick tip. And then one of my other favorite is alternate nostril breathing, even if you're just like 3 or 5 in, because that is going to activate the left and right side. And as women, a lot of high achieving women are only operating from the masculine energy. And to be in a true flow state, you need to have that duality of the masculine and feminine energy. So if you're activating both sides, that's another one. But I take women through wild sequences of breath work. And it's very intuitive from what I'm feeling into in your body and stuff. But basic breathing, those are ones that anyone, any time of day could stop, drop, and breathe and implement those.
Wonderful. Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question because we're big on figuring out, okay, this is a great tool I could put in my transformation tool belt. When could I do this? How can I make this a habit in my life? I love how you mentioned, taking 2 minutes in the morning. And I love the 2 minutes, like having an actual like timer and like focusing in on that versus being like, yeah, I'm grateful today, like for my husband, and then get up and go about your day. But like you said, this is something you could do any part of the day. It's anything you could it's really easy to schedule into your schedule. Is there a recommended amount of time, or is it just more intuitive as far as like, okay, I'm going to spend some time in this breath? It could take 10 minutes, it could take 2 minutes. Is there a recommended time, or is that just really just personal for the person?
I think breath work is kind of something you work your way up,
Okay.
especially if you're doing it from a healing perspective.
Hmm.
So what we just talked about would be more like a quick energetic reset,
Okay.
slowing your
Mhm.
mind down, making a mind body connection, dropping out of your head into your body. But then there's next level type of breath work. So when I was talking about processing our emotions,
Mhm.
most of us don't do that. So they get trapped. My philosophy is they get trapped in your body.
Mhm.
So I'm doing a very more kind of aerobic type of breathing, for a better way to explain it, where it's like a lot of in and out, quick, accelerated. We have the shamanic drumming in the background, and then we have the angelic music coming on. It's like an actual experience
Mhm.
because I tie that with visualization, meditation to create a light feeling. I feel like a majority of women walk around with heavy feeling, which equates to heavy actions. Breath work creates space and induces a light feeling. So then you
Mhm.
begin taking light actions in your life and business, or
Yeah.
as a mother, or whatever your
Yeah.
role during the day.
I love that. Yeah, because like totally, if we've been talking, like I could see how it feels heavy, and then you feel lighter as you're working through whatever level
Yeah.
of breath work that you're at. That's amazing. That's amazing. So, as far as like a woman listening today, they're like, okay, I really need to focus on my breathing. This is a really great habit I could start working in my day, maybe when you're feeling anxious or to get started first thing in the morning. What would be the first step for them to get started? Just figuring out when would be the best time for them to do this and put it on their schedule, or what do you think?
Well, to start, I would start paying attention to the times of the day that you feel triggered, off, or overwhelmed,
Mhm.
because that is your GPS red light dashboard indicator that something doesn't feel good, something's not working. So
Mhm.
instead of, you can use breath work as maintenance, but you can use it to heal. So if you breathe into it specifically when you're feeling those things, because again, you most of the time when we are in a trigger response, we can't solve a problem from the same level of consciousness that created it.
Mhm.
So if I'm struggling in the moment to try to find a solution, it's going to be hard. But if I slow down, get out of my brain into my body, ask those three questions again: what do I need in this moment? What am I making this mean about me? And who or what would I be without this thought? Then I feel like you really get to use breath work in that moment to heal and to learn the lesson so it doesn't keep popping up and causing problems over and over again.
Totally. Well, it's just that compound effect. The more you find those triggers happening and you're able to have this in your tool belt, the lighter you'll feel. And then you're coming back into, again, who you're supposed to be, and your soul isn't as tired.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
And
I
it's
love that
like
so much.
it's like a very natural high. Jokingly, my clients are like, "You always talk about soul tired. You just gave us a soul gasm. I don't know what you're talking about." They're like, "I don't know."
Yes, I love that. That's amazing. Amazing. Definitely feel lighter after that. That's for sure. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. That's amazing. So, well, I feel like a woman listening today can really put some breath work into her tool belt, use some of the tools that you talked about today. Where can everyone connect with you online, Kelly, and learn more about the techniques you're doing and teaching and feel really just inspired by what you're doing?
Yeah. So I am Kelly Brooke Adams on IG. I do a lot of business on LinkedIn as well. And my website is under construction. So I'll let you connect with either IG or LinkedIn at this point in time.
Super awesome. And I will include those links in the show notes. But Kelly Brooke Adams, thank you so much for coming on the show. This was such a fun conversation. And y'all, we just met like through Instagram and come to realize we're both from Indiana. Like you've been like pretty much like in my town. That's just, I love that. So fun.
Same college, even
Same college. Oh my gosh. I love how things are connected. So Kelly, thank you so much again for coming on the show and sharing your wisdom. I know a lot of women listening are going to put some breath work into their tool belt right away.
Thank you.
You bet.
Kelly, thank you so much for this conversation. I love your energy. I love how that's just so enthusiastic you are. And like I said, I felt so lighter talking to you. And that's why I titled this podcast, how to feel lighter using the tool of breath work. Because I know when I have been able to breathe into any stress or anxiety I'm feeling, like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, breathing into like a hard fitness movement, you're able to feel a little lighter on the other side. You're able to push through. And the breathwork techniques that Kelly provided us today I really feel like make a big difference in your life. So as always, let's talk about my 3 biggest takeaways from this conversation with Kelly Brooke Adams. So number 1, we talk about being soul tired. We talked early on about being a public success, but you're a private failure. You're not able to keep up with the house. Your kids are it's chaos, right? It's just chaos. You don't have the relationship with your spouse that you want to. You're busy, busy, busy at work, putting on this facade that you have it all together, but your soul is suffering. You are tired and it is just sucking the life out of you. If this is resonating with you, then this is probably a message you needed to hear today. Okay. I love how Kelly said our internal view is how we see our external view. So if we're feeling chaotic on the inside and tense and we're not catching our breath, right? That's how we see our whole world around us. However, you can take back control of that through, habit strategies that we teach here on Self-Transformed and like Self-Transform You, but also through the breathwork techniques that Kelly provided today. But it all comes down to being aware first. That's the biggest takeaway I want you to have from today is being aware if you are feeling this way. And then taking action because you don't deserve to feel that way. You don't deserve to live in chaos and feel like you're putting on this facade for everybody. So number 2, one of the first action steps you can take is focus on gratitude. I mentioned this is one of the keystone habits we talk about right away in Self-Transform You to get these girls some early wins, build some confidence, and start implementing these into their lives. So they're seeing that, oh, these are easy habits to do. This doesn't feel hard. I'm feeling confident. What else can I do? What other snowball can I add and watch it get bigger and watch my own transformation from the inside out? But I love how she mentioned set a 2-minute timer. It's one thing, like I mentioned, to be like, oh, I'm going to be grateful today. I love using the 5-minute gratitude journal. I'm going to start setting my timer actually as well to focus on gratitude, just breathing in and out gratitude for everyone around me, breathing out gratitude to everyone else as well. Like she said, we're emotionally dehydrated. We're just emotionally dehydrated, and you have to biohack that. So you have to actually do something to help you feel grateful. And that could be as simple as setting a timer and focusing on what you're grateful for. I love that it was the 2 minutes because it's versus just being like, I am grateful for my house, my job, my family, the end. Like really digging in deep and using the breath work she talked about today. A keystone habit, like I talked about, is something that influences other positive behaviors in your life. So this is obviously going to influence other positive behaviors in your life and habits. So set that 2-minute timer, schedule it, even just put an alarm on your phone and set that timer for 2 minutes right away, right when it goes off, so you are able to do that 2-minute gratitude work. And then lastly, the actual process of breath work. I was asking Kelly, like, when should we do this? Is there a certain time? I like the idea of setting a timer to do gratitude. But like she said, you can use the techniques she talked about, like humming happy birthday, the square breathing, the alternate nostril breathing. you can use it when you feel triggered. Okay, when you are feeling, you know what I mean, when you are just feeling like everything is piling up on you and you're just feeling like you can't catch your breath. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever said that? Like, I just can't catch my breath. I feel like I'm drowning, right? That's when you need to sit down, use these breathing techniques that Kelly mentioned today. And I'll also make sure to include a link to her website and to her Instagram so you can connect with her there too, if this is something you're interested in pursuing and learning a little bit more about as well. But actually, try to hold still and find your breath when you are feeling triggered in these emotions. I'm really interested to see how that changes your perspective and how that changes the weight you feel on your shoulders, how it will lift it off of your shoulders, help you feel lighter and help you feel more in control, and that you aren't living in a world of chaos. It may feel chaotic inside, but you have the tools inside you to help remove that chaos and help have that awareness that I can't catch my breath. I'm going to sit here and just focus on my breath. I know that's easier said than done, but I know you can do it. If you can do anything for 2 minutes focusing on gratitude and your breath, I think over time, these tiny little habits will have a massive transformation for your mindset, but also for the ones that love you the most around you, that need the best of you. And I know you want to give them the best of you as well. So again, Kelly, thank you so much for coming on the show. I loved this conversation. I'm always looking for new tools to give you in your transformation tool belt to help you have healthy habits that are sustainable, that are easy, that don't take a lot of time. And this is one of them, just using those simple breathwork techniques that we talked about on this conversation with Kelly Brooke Adams. So again, Kelly, thank you so much for coming on the show. Friends, make sure you are part of the Self-Transformed community and that you are going to join us for the next round of Self-Transform You. Spoiler alert. So like I mentioned, the Habits That Stick Starter Kit will be included in the March 21st round of Self-Transform You. But in April, that price is going to go up a little bit more because we're going to rework the program just a tiny bit. If you're an alumni, good for you, because you are going to get the Habits That Stick Starter Kit and you are going to get all the updates as well. But we're going to adjust the price a little bit. So if you want the Habits That Stick Starter Kit and at the current pricing, and of course, there's always a payment plan as well for Self-Transform You, go there now, selftransformu.com. Reserve your spot for March 21st. You can do it now and start digging into the Habits That Stick Starter Kit before we begin on the 21st with STU. One more big deep breath together in. Breathe in and out. I hope you feel lighter today, friend. I'll see you later this week. Hey girl, real quick, before you go, if you love today's show and know your girlfriends need to hear this message too, then grab a screenshot, post it to your Instagram stories, and tag me at EmilyNichols22, because the more mamas out there hearing this message, the more empowered we'll all feel to take care of ourselves so we can pour from a full cup. Or the number one way you can thank me for this podcast is to leave a rating and review in iTunes. That way, more mamas will find the show here too. Love you and appreciate you, girlfriends. See you next time.